these words, I will now request Shri Phal Pawar ji. Shri Phal Pawar is a 1988 batch officer from the West Bengal cadre. He is a former director NCRB. He also works in the state CID and the Anti-Corruption Bureau. Actually, he was the founder director for the Anti-Corruption Bureau. He has also worked in the UN peacekeeping mission for 1 year. And he started a Sahayata platform for the minor dispute resolutions during his tenure in the states. In NCRB, he galvanized the digital police portal, which improved the citizen services. So, Mr. Phal Pawar, and the topic is data statistics on police arrests in India. Shri Pawar ji.
Good morning, sir. Thank you so much. Good morning, Ramchandran sir and Dr. Ish Kumar. I hope I am audible and visible. Let me share my presentation. Okay, next career, please. I've been asked to talk basically on data. So as Dr. Ish Kumar mentioned, we have yearly registration of cases amounting to about 55 lakh every year, though there have been ups and downs. In 2010, there were 67 lakh cases, and 2014, the minimum 45 lakh cases. But on an average, yearly 55 lakh cases and 67 lakh arrests in specific FIR related cases. Though there have been other arrests in preventive and CRPC, which I'm not talking of. In fact, CRPC, as was mentioned, over 71 lakh arrests are made every year. It's another thing that out of 71, about 51 lakh people get released within 24 hours because they are basically preventive sections in CRPC, like 107, 8, 9, 10, 151, like that. I'm also not talking of detention in preventive detention acts, various acts, about 89,000 case arrests which are done every year. So I'll be focusing here only on case-specific arrests, which are about 67 lakh on an average, though the maximum has been in 2013 amounting to about 80 lakh and minimum in 2019 amounting to about 52 lakh. Next. Now, prison also, because it's a related chapter, so I thought I'll mention the capacity of prisons in India is about 4 lakh, and inmate population as on 31st of December 2020 was 4.88 lakh, making the average occupancy rate of 118%. That means prisons are overcrowded. If you see state specific, next slide, please. Then UP has maximum overcrowding, 177%, and Chhattisgarh, these are top 6 states, 177, 173, so it's a huge occupancy rate in prisons, and it's all because of arrests that we make. Next, please. Now, Code of Criminal Procedure Code, it was amended, and Section 41. In fact, was amended. 41A was brought anew, and these changes came into effect from 2010 onwards because arrests were too many, and the legislators wanted some kind of control over arrests, and that's how it was made. Now let's see the impact of this change in the CRPC. Whether 2010 onwards, do we have any real impact on number of arrests? Next, please. First, I'll just mention what was brought about in the change. Section 41(1), any police officer may arrest without warrant in the following cases. A is if offense happens in presence of police, and B is the critical one, where the punishment is up to 7 years, and there are reasons for which the police officer has to arrest and not to arrest. That means there's a lot of discretion at the hand of a police officer when the offense is up to 7 years. And this discretion, makes the arrest discriminate, without any qualms, and we have maximum arrest because of this discretion. I'll just show you some graphs next. Next, please. These are okay. Yeah, this graph. You see, if you see, the blue line is the cases registered and the red one is the arrests made. So arrests follow more or less the number of registration of cases, except that in 2016 onwards, you see the arrests have started coming down, though the number of cases were still going up. From 2014, when the law, no, 2010 onwards, there was no change in the number of arrests. Arrests were still going high, though the law did mention that we should exercise our control over arrests, but it was less of control, more of discretion, and therefore, if you see the graph, there's hardly any decrease in the number of arrests from 2010 onwards, disproportionate to the number of cases. The arrests have started coming down, as you see, in the year 2015, or let's say 14 onwards, where the cases were still going up, but the arrests have slightly coming down. Though again in 2016, again went up. So that means the change in law had no impact on the behavior of police officers. Next. Arrest per case, if you see, again the same, the graph from 2014 onwards, it is showing a dip, and 2015 again, it goes up, and 2016 onwards, it is a real dip in arrest per case. Next, please. Now I'll go a little deep dive into various types of cases. First, the broad category-wise arrests. Next, please. Yeah, the IPC offenses we broadly categorize into, let's say, offenses against the body, then disobedience to public servant, offenses against property, then offenses against public tranquility, and forgery. These 5 broad categories. And if you see the number of arrests, they are maximum in the offenses affecting the human body. Much more, right? More than double the second category. And second category, this is based on 2020 data. So where COVID-related arrests because of disobedience to public servants' order were maximum. So this second bar came into prominence only last year in 2020. Otherwise, this was nowhere, and then offenses against the human body are maximum, more than 2 or 3 times the other categories. So that's where we need to focus our attention to.
Mr. Pawar, sorry for interjecting. You have another 3 minutes to close.
Yeah.
I'll tell the salient points, please.
Next, please. Next slide. Now, if you see top 10 heads of crime in relation to arrests, it's the hurt which has a maximum number of arrests. Hurt includes simple hurt and grievous hurt. The simple hurt is about 80% of arrests. So that's where the focus needs to be made when you want to control the number of arrests. The second category, disobedience to public servant, rash driving is third. Theft again is a high, quite high. So we know that theft cases are hardly detected, yet we have so many arrests. So conviction rate is so low, then why do we make arrests? Next, please. And all these, can you go back? All these offenses, barring the attempt to, commit murder, all these are offenses having less than 7 years of punishment. And yet they're the top 10 heads of arrest, So the discretionary power which has been given 41(1)(a) is huge, is playing havoc with the number of arrests. Next, please. Cases in arrest in 498(a), I want to focus here. The Ernest Kumar case in 2014 was announced by Supreme Court, and I think that made a difference in number of arrests. If you see the graph, from 2014 onwards, the arrests has certainly started coming down. So that's disproportionately down. The number of cases are also a little down. but the arrest figures are quite satisfactory, and this Supreme Court judgment seemed to have made a lot of impact in the minds of police. I think police from their core of hearts always never wanted to arrest, but because of the law or because of serious pressure, they were arresting. I feel so. Next one. We have covered these. So next, the last slide, suggestions. So Section 41 CRPC, which was amended, perhaps requires amendment once again. And 41(1)(b), which gives a lot of discretion to police in offenses having punishment within 7 years. I think that needs to go. It is just not serving any purpose. Delete it altogether and make arrest in such cases only consequent to warrant of arrest. That's a humble submission, that unless you have warrant of arrest, you can't make arrest in offenses having less than 7 years of punishment. And next is apply provisions of the existing Section 41(1)(b), which I want them to be deleted. You can apply them to offenses punishable beyond 7 years. All the discretionary, whatever has been given, that can continue for offenses having punishment beyond 7 years. And retain Section 41(a), which was a good addition, regarding notice of appearance in all cases, whether it's 7 years less or 7 years beyond. And consequent power of arrest in case of failure. So that's my submission. And I think I thank you so much for paying attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Shri Ramphal Pawar.
I covered within time. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Shri Ramphal Pawar ji. I think you made 2-3 very important points. The first is that the first 10 heads of the maximum number of arrests, all the heads are with the less than 7 years of the punishment. Where maximum arrests are taking place. You have also made important suggestions. I think we will again look into those suggestions during our discussion time. They are very important. Just one small clarification from my side. Decline in the crime, if in 2014 onwards, actually this happened when I was director NCRB. 3 states of UP, Uttarakhand and Chhattisgarh, they were including the motor vehicle challans in the registered crime. So around 23 lakh crime came down from the SLL category because of that. And that is how the 14(1), once we excluded that, the crime numbers came down. So just as a matter of information, thank you very much.